Hi, good morning everybody. My name is Sir Jude and today tuturuan ko kayo kung paano mag-balance ng chemical equation in a fast, less academic, and shorter way. Okay, let's get started. So, ang goal natin in balancing chemical equation is to make sure that the number of the atoms of the individual elements on the reactant side, on the left side, are equal to the number of the atoms of the individual elements on the right side. Okay? So let's start with number one. So in number one, first we have hydrogen with two atoms and on the reactant side, and we have two atoms of hydrogen on the product side. Since both of them are balanced already, they are pretty much checked out. Okay. However, for oxygen, we have two atoms on the left side, and you have one atom on the product side. So, para ma-meet natin yung dalawang oxygen atoms, you have to multiply the H2O by 2. Because remember, once you put the coefficient here, the number of oxygen atoms would be 2 times 1. Okay? And in that case, balance na si oxygen. Now, since naglagay tayo ng 2 sa H2O, nadamay ngayon si hydrogen. Now, hydrogen atoms on the product side are now 2 times 2 equals 4. And ang number of hydrogen atoms sa left side ay dalawa lang. So to make the number of hydrogen atoms on the left side 4 as well, we have to multiply this by 2. And with that, balance na po lahat ng atoms on the reactant and product side. So dito, maglalagay ako ng number 1 since technically wala naman tayong nilagay dito. Okay, number 2. For number 2, we have Al2O3 decomposing to Al+. So I'd like to start with oxygen because I'd like to introduce like a new rule. Technically, in balancing chemical equation, wala tayong set of rules. Structured rules to follow because this is a pretty trial and error method. So the reason why I'd like to start with oxygen is because of this. There are 3 oxygen atoms on the reactant side, and there are 2 oxygen atoms on the product side. Now, I'd like to introduce to you the odd and even technique. So in the odd and even technique, you multiply the number of oxygen atoms on the left to the number of oxygen atoms at the right side. So 3 times 2 equals 6. So now, your goal is to ensure that each side of the equation contains 6 oxygen atoms. Since we have 3 on the reactant side, we have to multiply Al2O3 by 2. Instead of 2 on the product side, you have to multiply it by 3. And with that, oxygen is already balanced. Now, kung naglagay tayo ng 2 sa Al2O3, damay si aluminum. So now, aluminum atoms on the reactant side contain 2 times 2 equals 4. There are 4 atoms. While on the product side, there's only 1. So to make the number of aluminum atoms on the product side 4, we have to multiply this one by 4. Okay, next, number 3, we have Ag2O decomposing to Ag plus O2. I'd like to start with Ag. There are 2 silver atoms on the reactant side and only 1 on the product side. So we have to multiply Ag by 2. Now, let's talk about oxygen. We have 1 oxygen atom on the reactant side and we have 2 oxygen atoms on the product side. So to make the number of oxygen atoms on the reactant side 2 as well, we have to multiply Ag2O by 2. So at this point, oxygen is now balanced. So this is what I mean when I say that balancing chemical equation is largely a trial and error process. So nag-start akong mag-balance with Ag or silver, but nadamay siya, naglagay ako ng 2 sa Ag2O when I balance oxygen. So as a consequence of that, buburahin ko yung 2 sa Ag here. Okay? Now, since nadamay si silver here, there are now 4 atoms because 2 times 2 equals 4, and there's only 1 silver atom at the product side. We have to multiply Ag here by 4. And with that, balance ang lahat. So for O2, I would like to write number 4. Number 4, we have sodium Na combining with diatomic chlorine Cl2, forming sodium chloride or table salt NaCl. Okay, this one is pretty easy. So first, uh, because sodium is already balanced, because there's 1 atom of sodium on the left and 1 atom of sodium on the right side, we have to focus on chlorine. There are 2 chlorine atoms on the left and only 1 on the right, so we have to multiply NaCl by 2. And with chlorine now balanced, nadamay si Na because naglagay tayo ng 2 sa NaCl. So because there are now 2 sodium atoms on the right and there's only 1 on the left, we also have to multiply sodium atom by 2. So, and leave Cl2 with 1. And with that, all atoms are now balanced. Number 5. Number 5, we have N2O5 dinitrogen pentoxide decomposing to nitrogen dioxide and diatomic oxygen. This is another weird scenario because you have 5 oxygen atoms on the left and a total of 4 oxygen atoms on the right side. This is where I will also introduce the odd or even technique, but in a new version. So usually, when you see an odd number like this, sometimes you translate it to an even number. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but it will work for 5. So we have 5, an odd number. How do we convert that to an even number? Using multiplication. So we multiply that by 2. So 5 times 2 is equivalent to 10. Now, our goal is to ensure that there will be 10 oxygen atoms on the left side. And since there's already 5, we have to multiply that by 2. Okay? Now, as a consequence of writing 2 on N2, there are now 4 nitrogen atoms because 2 times 2 equals 4. And there's only 1 nitrogen atom at the product side. Because of that, we have to multiply NO2 by 4. Okay? So with that, nitrogen atoms are already balanced. How about oxygen? So on the left side, we have 2 times 5 equals 10. And here you have 4 times 2 equals 8. Then here you have 2 oxygen atoms. So you have 10 on the left and then 8 plus 2 equals 10 on the right. So that means this equation is now balanced. And let me just add number 1. All right, let's move on to number 6. Okay. Number 6, this is the last example of combination in this set of examples. Okay, so we have P4O6 combining with H2O to form H3PO3. So let's start with phosphorus. You have 4 phosphorus atoms here on the left side and 1 phosphorus atom on the right side. So we have to multiply H3PO3 by 4. Okay, and with that, phosphorus is already balanced. Next, as a consequence of writing 4 on the product side, there are now 12 hydrogen atoms on the product side. And there's only 2 on the reactant side. So to make the reactant side contain 12 hydrogen atoms, we have to multiply water by 6. And with that, hydrogen atoms are now balanced. How about oxygen? The oxygen, you have 6 atoms here. And you have 6 times 1 equals 6 atoms here. So that's 6 plus 6 equals 12 on the reactant side. And now on the product side, you have 4 times 3 equals 12. So 6 plus 6 equals 12. And with that, oxygen atoms are now balanced. And let me just write 1 on P4O6. Number 7. In number 7, we have our first combustion equation. So in combustion, you have a hydrocarbon. When you say hydrocarbon, you have a compound containing hydrogen and carbon here. You burn it with oxygen to form gaseous carbon dioxide and water vapor. In combustion, you usually start balancing with carbon atoms, followed by hydrogen, and we balance oxygen. Okay, let's start with carbon. There are 3 carbon atoms on the left side. There's only 1 on the right, so we have to multiply CO2 by 3. Sorry for that. Next, for hydrogen, you have 8 hydrogen atoms on the left side. There's only 2 on the right side. So to make the right side contain 8 hydrogen atoms, you have to multiply this one by 4. Now, with carbon and hydrogen already balanced, let's balance oxygen. So on the right side, on the left side, you have 2 oxygen atoms here. And on the right side, you have 3 times 2 equals 6, plus 4 times 1 equals 4. So you have 6 plus 4 equals 10 oxygen atoms on the right side, and you only have 2 on the left side. So to make the left side contain 10 oxygen atoms, you have to multiply this one by 5. And with that, oxygen atoms are now balanced, and you leave C3H8 with a coefficient of 1. Number 8. Number 8 is our very first example of singular replacement. Okay, so we have iron plus sodium bromide forming iron, bromide, and sodium. So the first noticeable unbalanced atom is bromine because there's only 1 bromine atom on the reactant side and 3 bromine atoms on the product side. So to make the reactant side contain 3 bromine atoms, you have to multiply NABR by 3. So at this point, bromine is now balanced. Now, so consequence of writing 3 in NABR, you now contain 3 times 1 equals 3 sodium atoms on the reactant side, and you only have 1 sodium atom on the product side. So you have to multiply sodium by 3. And with that, sodium is now balanced. And since we don't have any problem with iron atoms, because both of them contain 1 atom each on each side of the chemical equation, that means we leave iron and iron bromide with coefficients of 1. Now, I would like to skip number 9 as of the moment and dedicate an entire slide to it later. So let me focus on number 10. In number 10, this is C7H6O3 burning with oxygen to produce gaseous carbon dioxide and water. This is another example of combustion because you have an oxygen containing hydrocarbon on your reactant side, and you burn it with oxygen, releasing very specific products on the right side. Okay, so just like what I said earlier in combustion, start balancing the carbon, followed by hydrogen, and then oxygen. There are 7 carbon atoms on the reactant side and only 1 on the product side. So I have to multiply carbon dioxide by 7. Next, there are 6 hydrogen atoms on the reactant side and only 2 on the product side. Our goal is for each side of the equation to have 6 hydrogen atoms. So we have to multiply water by 3. Okay, now this is where the balancing gets a little bit tricky when it comes to oxygen. So you have 3 oxygen atoms here, and you only have 2 here on the left side. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. Now, on the product side, you have 7 times 2 equals 14, plus you have 3 times 1 equals 3. So 14 plus 3 equals 17. Now, both sides of the equation have 3 already. There you go. So that leaves you with 2 and 14. So to make this specific oxygen 14 on the left side, we have to multiply diatomic oxygen by 7. So 7 times 2. So 3 plus 7 times 2 will give you 17 oxygen atoms on the left side. And 14 plus 3 equals 17 oxygen atoms on the right side. So that means everything now is balanced. And I'll write 1 as a coefficient of C7H6O3. Okay. Last 5 equations, we have 11. Our very first double displacement equation. Excuse me. So, all right. So this is the first example wherein we have polyatomic species. So when we say polyatomic species, you see a group of elements together inside a parenthesis. Now, based on what I see, I'd like to start with chlorine. So there's one chlorine atom on the reactant side, and there are 2 chlorine atoms on the product side. So to make them even, I will multiply HCl by 2. With that, Cl is now balanced. Now, as a consequence of writing 2 as a coefficient of HCl, there are now 2 times 1 hydrogen atom here. And notice that the PbOH2, so how do we count the number of elements inside the parentheses? So you just distribute this subscript here to the number of hydrogen atoms inside. So our subscript is 2 times 1 hydrogen atom. So we have 2 hydrogen atoms on PbOH2. So that leaves us with a total of 4 hydrogen atoms on the reactant side. And since we only have 2 hydrogen atoms on the product side, we have to multiply that by 2 as well. And both lead and oxygen are already balanced. So that means this equation is balanced already, but for formality, I would just like to place 1 on the remaining reagents. Number 12. A single replacement reaction. So we have Mg plus AgNO3 forming MgNO3 plus Ag or silver. Now, this is the point wherein we have to consider the groupings of the polyatomic, the number of groupings of the polyatomic species. So here, in MgNO3, 2, or magnesium nitrate, you have 2 groups of NO3. 2 groups because of the subscript here. However, on silver nitrate or AgNO3, you have only 1 group of NO3. So you have 2 groups of NO3 on the right and 1 group of NO3 on the left. So we have to multiply silver nitrate by 2. And because of that, NO3 is already balanced. As a consequence of writing 2 as the coefficient of AgNO3, there are now 2 silver atoms here on the left side, and there's only 1 on the product side. So I have to multiply Ag by 2. And with magnesium unaffected by the new coefficients, that leaves us with a balanced equation already. So for formality, let me just write 1 on the remaining class. Number 13. Another double displacement reaction. This is a very bulky equation based in terms of structure, but there's an easy way to deconstruct this problem. So we have B2 Br6 plus HNO3 forming BNO33 plus HBr. Let me start with boron, sorry. We have two boron atoms on the left side, and there's only one boron atom on the right side, so I have to multiply this by. Next, because boron is now balanced, as a consequence of writing 2 on boron NO3, so remember, originally, NO3 has 3 groups on the product side because the subscript here is 3. And because we have 2 as a coefficient here, we have 2 times 3, 6 groups of, sorry, yeah. So 2 times 3, we have 6 groups of NO3 on the product side. And we only have 1 group of NO3 on the reactant side. So to make the reactant side contain 6 groups of NO3 or the nitrate, we have to multiply HNO3 by 6. And with that, NO3 is already balanced. As a consequence of writing 6 in HNO3, we now have 6 hydrogen atoms on the left side, and we only have 1 hydrogen atom on the product side. So to make HBr contain 6 hydrogen atoms, we place 6. So hydrogen is now balanced. And as you can see, both bromine atoms on the reactant side and the product side contain 6 bromine atoms. So with that, this equation is now balanced. Let me just write 1 with D2 AR6.